Morning guys, it's Chris from the daxtrader.co.uk and it's the 5th of March. This is the Dax Technical Analysis and the trading disclaimer applies. Please read that in the description below. Okay, so on this daily chart for FDAX, we're looking at DAX futures. We are above the value area of the 2019 profile. We're actually testing the highs of the year. Yesterday we did manage to put in another high, although not too sure how strong that's going to be. We'll probably find out for the rest of this week. Now, if we go and take a look on the hourly chart here, the profile for March at the moment is looking top heavy, as much as that the majority of the traded volume is in the kind of top third of the overall profile. We're trading just below the composite, if you like, point of control, or this high volume area around here. We're testing it at the moment, so it's had a bit of a reaction as soon as it ran into it this morning, and this was where quite a large majority of selling volume came in yesterday, so we're looking to see whether or not those sellers are still sat there. If they are, then we could quite easily test the bottom of this ignition point down here for today, and perhaps even go and test the lows from yesterday. But if they aren't, then breaking through this could be very, very interesting, and we'll be looking to at least test the value area high of the composite profile, and maybe even the highs from yesterday as well. So we'll see whether or not there is as much momentum as is needed to be able to get up there. The levels for today, the value area high is at 645, the value area low 594, and we're just underneath the point of control from yesterday at 626. We've tested or attempted to tag it, but missed it on its first attempt about an hour or so ago. So we'll have a look now to see whether this second attempt has more success in getting there. You'll notice that this composite on the right hand side, which is a 5-day rolling composite profile, shares the point of control with yesterday's profile, and yesterday certainly looked like it was fairly normal, but of course we're ignoring the, if you like, the Asian session down here from the open. Now, price action from yesterday was interesting because of this. Now, I mentioned it in the video yesterday because on the profile over here it looked very different. There was a large low volume area in here, and my question was, what's going to happen as soon as we test it? Are we going to bounce from it, or are we going to zoom through it? I think that were the words I used. And, well, I mean, that candle there pretty much gives us our answer. So it was good to see. We found the low from Friday, bounced from it, and managed to stay above it. And, yeah, so it was encouraging to see it not completely collapse down to these lower levels straight away. But the rejection at this point of control, or this point of control here, would certainly offer another opportunity for sellers to go and test these levels and look to perhaps buy at lower prices. Okay, and this shows it as well. These are the exposed points of control. We've already taken out this one, which we talked about yesterday as well. To the downside, there's 473. That could potentially be a good target zone. And directly above us, we've got that 626, which we've already spoken about. Okay, well, this chart wasn't intended to show, but just taking a quick look around it for some potential areas of interest. These blue ringed, if you like, zones are the point of control for the individual candles. This is a 15-minute chart where we're examining inside of the price action for each of the candlesticks. And the only thing that sort of stands out at the moment to me is that we've got these revolving candle patterns. So we've got this bullish, big bullish candle, bearish bullish, and it's kind of rotating at the moment in this zone. So we've got to see whether or not there's any more interest at this price point at 616, or whether or not this level down here, which seemed to hold the first test around about 600, manages to hold again. So yeah, we'll know more in probably half an hour or so. Quick look on the levels for CFD. And we're looking at today a value area high of, let's just move this out of the way, at 655 and value area low of 568. And you can see a similar picture to the futures chart in that we missed the point of control, similar looking profile, similar zoom through the levels yesterday. You know, it mirrors it pretty well. Okay, as far as the strategy, if we go and take a look at the DAX for yesterday, started off in sell mode. There were 3 sell signals. They were all valid. And depending on how I would have done though, I can't recall exactly off the top of my head what I did, but I think I took one of them, perhaps two. I can't recall now. But it got a little bit choppy in the afternoon session as we flipped into buy mode, and whilst it looks pretty ugly, lots of different buy signals, technically you'd have only been in one or two of them. The first one would have been this one, which you would have been in for a little while. Maybe got stopped out here, so you'd have jumped into this one. Maybe it was stopped out, maybe you'd have survived that one, but if you did survive it, you wouldn't have got into another one until perhaps here. And then if that wouldn't have worked, that's your 3 bullets done, you'd have walked away. Perhaps you would have had a bit more success on this one over here. As far as Footsie is concerned for yesterday, buy mode, sell mode, buy mode, it was a bit of a rotation. In the first half of the session, there was a couple of valid sell signals here. Doesn't look like the first one would have worked, the second one would have been ignored. It flipped into buy mode over here, and those 3 signals would have all been ignored, unfortunately. So whilst they look great, I personally would not have taken them and didn't take them. Then it flipped into sell mode over here, and I ignored that sell signal as all of the other indices, including the American indices, were green, so I just decided to leave it alone. And then it started getting a bit more interesting in the second half of the session, and really the fireworks kicked off after I'd walked away at 4 o'clock. So hey, one of those things, what can you do? Alright guys, so that is me for today. So I'm really looking to see whether or not we manage to break out of this little zone, and if so, which direction do we go? So if we manage to break above the high for today, and I think it's encouraging for us to go and actually look to take out the point of control first of all, which is around about here. If we manage to get through that, we're aiming for the value area high. If we get through that, then we're obviously testing the high from yesterday. If we break below 595 and continue or stay below it, then we're probably going to be looking to go and test the lows from yesterday. So keep your eyes peeled and we'll see how it plays out. Hope you have a good trading day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another one. Until then, take care.